And what are you getting? You're getting better. That's what you're getting. People are going to look at Joey Gallo and look at the strikeouts like you're missing the bigger picture here. You're bringing in a left-handed slugger who also gets on base, who's a plus defender in the outfield, who can play left, who can play center, obviously right, but you got Judge there. You got a hitter you can put in the middle of the order. You get him for this season and for next season. You don't have to give up a top 10 prospect to do it or anyone who's on your 40-man. And, oh, by the way, the Rangers are going to pay most of his salary, according to Mark Feinsand. This is great news all around for the Yankees. Moose, as a Yankee fan, I have to believe you are ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, I like the move. Ecstatic's a little much. I think it's interesting. I think for left-handed power, I think you look at Gallo. The negative is he's very similar to what you have already in the lineup. A lot of power, a lot of strikeouts. I mean,
but also gets on base and also is a plus defender. He brings a lot more than just the strikeouts.
Right, but you're looking at more a case of what he is offensively, right? Because, I mean, you can look at guys that can give you what he's going to give you defensively, right? I mean, Greg Allen's a really good defensive outfielder, but he's not what Joey Gallo is power-wise. I like the fact that he's a left-handed bat, a left-handed power bat. We've mentioned it, balancing out the lineup. The Yankees have been intrigued by Joey Gallo. There are holes to his game, and if he was a complete player, you wouldn't give up what the Yankees gave up to get him, and there would be a bigger marketplace for Joey Gallo. So that there's limitations to what he can do offensively. Yeah, I don't know if I could say I'm ecstatic. I like the move. I think it makes sense. I mean, I think for everybody wins. I mean, the Yankees get left-handed power. They get a guy that can play, as you mentioned, Maggie, multiple positions for this team. He's a plus defender in the outfield. We've seen that. How wins. The Yankees aren't picking up, Gallo's contract, aren't picking up Rodriguez's contract either. So the Yankees can stay under that $210 million.
They didn't have to pay for Odor either. The Rangers are picking up the full tab this whole season.
I mean, Lindor was terrible, right? So, I mean, he was designated for assignment. But you look at the move, everybody wins all the way around. So I can understand those that are critical of it, though, and looking at Gallo, the player, and what he is offensively. And you mentioned the on base, but just the amount of strikeouts, being reliant on the home run. He's a lefty bat, but the Yankees have a lot of those guys in that lineup that are very, very reliant on hitting a home run, and Joey Gallo is just another one. Now, it balances out the lineup, so that's a positive because he is a lefty power bat, and thank God the analytics department said, yeah, let's go ahead and go get Joey Gallo, and gave Brian Cashman and company the thumbs up. And they didn't give up all that much. When I saw some of the initial reports, because the package has changed
a lot,
where Clark Schmidt might have been part of the package, then I would have been very, very bothered by it. I really would have. And they've got more moves to make. If Jim Bound's right, I saw him on CBS Sports HQ last night. They sent out a video where he said, this is just the beginning for Brian Cashman. He's gonna continue to attack before Friday's 4:00 trade deadline. The Yankees are all in on this season. I think that makes you really, really happy if you're a Yankee fan. Listen, I come out of this. I said yesterday, when we were having conversations about Trey Turner, about Trevor Story, about what you'd have to give up. Well, the Yankees will show you with their activity or inactivity about what they feel about this group. And the first salvo is that the Yankees still believe in this group, and they went out there and reinforced them. They're a better baseball team today. We can get into the debate about just how much better they are, but they're going to push for that wild card spot in the American League and then see where this team stands. There's no doubt Gallo is an upgrade. How significant an upgrade, that's where the debate lies.
Well, you're not going to be able to remake this whole team, if the Yankees are even interested in that, but you're not going to be able to remake this whole team at one deadline. But this can go further towards, what you hope is going to be some changes for the Yankees moving forward. Now it is about this year. You're right. They're going for it now. Like, that's enough. If I were a Yankee fan, that would be enough for me to get me to the level of ecstatic. You're going for it. They're not waving the white flag. They couldn't be sellers anyway. But, they're not just going to sit here on their hands and not do anything. They're showing you, the fan, that they are willing to invest in this team because they feel like there's something worth saving here. That's got to make you feel great. Who wants to, on paper, it's always, fine. You can think about, all right, we got to tear it down. We got to start from scratch. The Yankees aren't doing any of that. To improve this team is the move. They're going in and they're making it worth their own while. You're never going to get the perfect player. He's not a perfect player, but he's better. He's better. The team is better today. And that's why I think as a Yankee fan, and you're not done, allegedly. I mean, according to reports, you're not done either to try to make this team even more reinforced at the places you need it reinforced.
But doesn't the skepticism, Maggie, come from? I mean, it's hard to look at this group. You and I were having a conversation before the start of the show, right? They're a better baseball team. Are they closer to winning a World Series? I don't know if this team's win a World Series, whether they have Joey Gallo or whether they don't have Joey Gallo. I'd probably bet that they're not, right? So you look at it, does it get them better this year? Yeah. Can it push to make the playoffs? No question about it. Does it get them closer to win a World Series? No. And there's going to have to be massive turnover to this team. Now, one move isn't going to, we'll see what other moves that Brian Cashman has to make here before the MLB trade deadline. But I also think there's other things that come into the narrative as well. It's not just the player. I think there's the criticism of Cashman, where the organization has gone. There's a lack of belief or trust that, they're making the necessarily right decisions. And you look at Gallo, the player. Yeah, he's got he's on base nearly 38% of the time. He's also got 125 strikeouts and 310 at-bats. I mean, that's a lot of strikeouts when you look at Gallo this year, and he's hitting 223.
And he's got how many homers?
Yeah,
24?
He's got 25 home runs on the season.
25.
Yeah, he's got 25 home runs on the season. But the Yankees came into this year, you never discounted the fact that they were going to hit the ball over the fence, and the offense has ticked up a little bit where they've hit more home runs since the crackdown on the sticky stuff in early June, Maggie. But it's a lot of what you've seen already. I mean, that's what made DJ LeMahieu such a guy that the Yankees had to bring back, because he was such an outlier, because he did it differently than a lot of guys in that lineup. He wasn't swinging from his heels. He wasn't trying to hit the ball over the fence every time up at the plate. It wasn't about launch angle and exit velocity and all of that. Well, the Yankees, I like the fact, here's what I like about it. I like the fact that he's a good defensive player. You mentioned he's a solid on-base percentage. Don't like the swing and miss and the penchant for having a high strikeout percentage. That's what I don't like. The power is good. The fact that he's a lefty bat. We've been talking about having lefty bats in that lineup. Now they've acquired, or hopefully it will become official at some point in time. It's in the commissioner's office, as you mentioned. But once this deal becomes official, the Yankees have acquired a lefty power bat. And according to, Rougned Odor, listening to, Aaron Judge last night after the game, Rugi telling all of his teammates, Gallo is a guy that you're going to absolutely love and adore. That's going to be a positive influence in the clubhouse. All of those things are positive. I think that overall for the Yankees, though, there is a distrust in management about putting the proper team together in order to be successful come October.
Well, okay, but I also would be really interested to see what are his strikeout numbers when he's hitting in a deeper lineup. Who's worried about the Texas Rangers lineup? What pitches was he seeing when he's in that lineup? Maybe with a little protection, maybe he's seeing some better pitches, and maybe you're watching that ball leave the ballpark even more, or watching him, have more success than in Texas, where a team's on its way to losing 100 games. So I just think that there's like this tremendous, I would just say like infusion, also winning last night in a game where, the Rays, you feel like they're about to start coming back on you, and the Yankees are able to hang on and win in extras. I mean, the fact that, again, Aroldis Chapman is able to get it done, not looking perfect, but being that guy closer to the guy that we saw and have grown to know as the closer of this team, as opposed to what we saw a month ago. Like, things just kind of move in here, Judge with a big hit last night. Like, things starting to maybe look a little bit up here for the Yankees, and like, why not try to infuse this team with some talent? Because again, it's not like you just blew this on a rental. You do get them for next year also, and who knows what kind of changes could be coming at the end of this deadline by Friday, or even next year if the Yankees do realize, hey, we need a better shortstop. Hey, we need a little bit more creativity at first base.
I get that.
There's just like there's just so many moves still to be made, and that's why I'd be thrilled if I was a Yankee fan today. Just thrilled. I mean, you never wanted to wave the white flag on the season, ever. I just don't think that the Yankees, they don't have that, I don't think, in their DNA this year. That was never a possibility. Despite how bad they played at times and how gut-punching some of these losses have been, they weren't waving the white flag, and for that, I would be happy.
Yeah, well, I think you are happy that the organization's not waving the white flag, but I think there are other factors that come in. The lack of trust in the decision makers within the Yankee organization on what they deem to be a quality player. I also think what the Yankees as an organization deem to be a successful year. And also I think when there's a lot of Yankee fans that look at this group, even though, and the Yankees have had upticks this year, and then they follow that up with an absolutely critical and brutal loss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, today's the day where, maybe Garrett Cole has the lead. Yankees hand it off to the bullpen, and they have an absolute disastrous loss. So I'm going to take it one day at a time. I like the fact that the Yankees have not given up on the year. I can understand the positives of Gallo. I like the fact if the package that the latest package is the one that is the actual package the Yankees gave up. They gave up 4 prospects within the top 30 of their farm system. They didn't give out anybody up in their top 13. I think that's a positive. They've been chasing Joey Gallo for a while here. So he's a lefty power bat. I'm going to try and emphasize the positives. I still don't think this team is winning a World Series this year, but can this team, is Brian Cashman doing whatever he can to get this team to the postseason in October? No doubt about it. I think that is something that the Yankee fans should be excited about, is that the organization is trying to get this team to October. Whether they're good enough or not, well, we've seen a lot from this team this year that would lead you to believe, even with the addition of Joey Gallo, that they're not winning a World Series this year.
877-337-6666. Want to hear how you're feeling about this trade. Of course, we're taking you up to Yankee baseball afternoon game today. Garrett Cole on the mound. And oh, by the way, Yankees now have a winning record at Tropicana Field this year. 5-3 right now on the season. Got to feel good about that. Maybe, exercise some demons, Moose. Kind of bury some, bad vibes that the Yankees have had at the Trop. That whole narrative that they can't play there.
Sweep. I mean, the deal is this afternoon against the Tampa Bay Rays with Cole on the mound. You mentioned about the uptick to this team, and I'm just being realistic here. And I've been frustrated watching this team play. Frustrated about what happened. This past weekend. I mean, now it's a positive here. What has happened the last 2 days down in Tampa. Now finish off the sweep. I mean, it really is. The Yankees this year have had a bad record against quality teams. They've had a bad record against quality teams in the American League East. They've won the last 2 games. They've been a lot of close games. You got the stat last night on the S Network, how many 1- and 2-run games the Yankees have played this year, and they've played a lot of them. Well, this afternoon against Tampa, and we're going to take you right up until Yankees pregame at 12:30 this afternoon. I want to see the Yankees finish off the sweep. That's what I want to do. I want to see the Yankees finish off the sweep and continue those good vibes going into the weekend against Miami.